The 2026 cornerback draft class is pretty good. So in this video, we're going to go through our top 10 cornerbacks of the 2026 NFL draft. B. Ross, go ahead and give me your 10 through 8.
Oh, 10 through 8. As a former DB, I love ranking these guys. So 10, I have Manny Muhammad, Texas, Chandler Rivers from Duke, Brandon Cisse from South Carolina.
All right, at number 10, I have Chandler Rivers. Number 9, I have Manny Muhammad. And number 8, I have Kelley Jones, the Mississippi State corner. We'll talk about Kelley Jones in a little bit. I know B. Ross has him up the board here. And I'm very high on Kelley Jones too. So his ranking at number 8, man, we got to talk about him. All right. I think we should start off with Chandler Rivers, and then we'll talk about Manny Muhammad right after. I'll let you start this one off on Chandler. Give me your thoughts on him.
Yeah, so Chandler isn't the biggest of bodies when it comes to the cornerback position, but he has good feet. He's a fluid mover. And he does a pretty decent job of playing bigger than what he is. The issue is his lack of size does show up at times at the catch point. I thought last year he was better. He's better playing off than press. At press, he's not strong with his hands, but he is a good football player. I think where he goes and how he uses is very pivotal for his success. I don't think he's a plug and play in any system. I think he's better in man than zone. Granted, he can see it well. I just think he likes playing man. I think he takes it personally. I think he's very, very combative at the catch point. Really like Chandler's tape, but I just thought last year he was so much better. He was more impactful. So I had him at 9, I think. You had him at 10. We had the bottom two guys switch, but I think he's really a football player.
Yeah, so for Chandler Rivers, I saw his film last year, and I really liked his film last year. This year, it's been kind of similar, but it hasn't been as good. So I'm going to do what I usually do on these top 10. I go ahead and write a brief sort of paragraph and thoughts and some bullet points of different thoughts I have on him. So for Chandler Rivers, he's my number 10. I think he's a highly intelligent corner who's got good processing, good route recognition, and good spatial awareness. He's explosive and he's fluid in both off man and zone. He's good at carrying routes and passing them off in zone. And he's a versatile player who can play on the outside, he can play in the slot, and he can even blitz a little bit. I think he's a high impact starter, but I don't know if he's necessarily ever going to be like a top end piece for a team. He'll be good. He'll be a second or third option, and that's what he is. He is a little bit undersized at 5'10". Could probably benefit from maybe putting on a couple more pounds just to be a little bit stronger. And when I was watching him on run reps, he struggles to get off blocks, right? He's easy to get blocked on. And when you're talking about in the NFL now where you're seeing so much more screens on the outside, that's a bit concerning for him. But I think this is a really smart player. And I think for corners, I like to value guys who are a little bit bigger, but for Chandler, he's so smart. Fair. And this is a draft class, by the way, with a lot of corners that are around that 5'10 to 5'9 range. Chandler just happens to be in that, and I think he's a really good player. The 2024 film gives me hope that he can be a bit better in the NFL, but the 2025 film is not like horrific by no means. It's just that 2024 was just a lot better, a lot more clean, and less productive for the players playing against him. Let's pan over now to Manny Muhammad or Manny Muhammad.
Manny.
We are both Texas fans. However, we take the logo off the helmet. We do not take that into account. Just watching the player, watching the prospect. I'll start this one off. Manny Muhammad. I think he's a really good defender with a high football IQ. He excels at reading route distributions and processing different concepts. I think he can play on the boundary. I also think he can also, if you need him to in a pinch, I think he can play inside. I do think he's best as a boundary corner. He's got a lot of potential. He needs to be better in run support, and he's got to be better at handling downhill speed. A lot of times you'll see teams. Now, I thought versus A&M he was really good, right? You're talking about some really fast players. And that gives me a lot of hope because there have been moments in some reps up there where you can see him be a step behind these really athletic receivers, but I think his short area footwork is really good. I think he can play in both man and zone. He's a smart player. Doesn't tackle the best. And on deep passes, there have been times where you see him out of position. But he just hasn't been tested a lot at Texas. Texas, as we have known,
True.
Everyone thought it was going to be Manny on one side, Jalen Gilbo on the other side, but Gilbo just did not really pan out. And you're seeing games where, man, you might say Manny Muhammad's name like one time, and that's it, because he gets tested like very rarely. Teams just are not challenging him, and that's a testament to him. I think he's having a really good year, and I think he's got the size, the arm length, and the profile to develop into becoming a really, really good outside corner for a team.
Metro, you hit it on the head. Why I don't have him higher is because he's just very inconsistent with his eyes. Sometimes he's very high IQ and he sees it before it happens, and that's when he makes great plays. And and that's when he kind of reminds me of like a Marcus Peters type. He sees it before it happens, and I love that about him. At the same time, he sees too much sometimes because things get behind him. Now the ball isn't always thrown, but you'll see just coverage leaking behind him, or in zone coverage again, he sees too much. He's staring at the quarterback, but he's not feeling two come across his zone. It's just small, minute things that I look for in corners. Now, with all that being said, I think he has really good hips, great feet. He's explosive out of his breaks, hence why it's hard to throw on him. So I do think he's best suited to play outside. I don't see him as a nickel. I'm not saying he can't do it. I just don't think that's where his best skill set lies. So he does offer that versatility, but he's a guy where if he can play little off, play some press, and just match routes, he can cover all day. I think he's one of the better cover guys. He just lacks ball production. Some of that is because I don't think he can catch at times. He does have some PBUs, but at the same time, he does have moments where he panics with his back to the ball. So, good player to me, he has a lot of upside. It's the details in playing the ball and getting more consistent production that will help him be a really good player or just a guy.
Yeah, the thing, I wouldn't describe Manny Muhammad as a coverage corner, not a ball hawk, not a guy that's going to play the ball very often. He is a technician. He is somebody that is going to try to out technique you, and it works very often. I think he's a really good player, and I don't know if I would put a grade on him. He'd be probably a 3rd round pick for me right now. Now he also might just come back to Texas for another year, which as a Texas fan I'm hoping for. But I think it would be beneficial to him to maybe return for one more year. Last thing I'll say about Malik, he's 6 foot. He looks a little bit bigger than 6 foot. Sometimes you see guys who are 6 foot and they don't look 6 foot, right? Like Ty Simpson.
Yeah.
All right, bro, you're not 6 foot. You might be 5'11" or something, right? He looks like a legit 6 foot. He's got some long arms too, so that gives me some good hope that he can be good.
He does.
All right, let's move on to the next one. So for me, at number 7, I have Brandon Cisse. Number 6, I have Colton Hood. And then number 5, I have Keith Abney.
Yeah, so I have Chris Johnson at 7, Keith Abney at 6, and Colton Hood at 5.
We'll get to him in a second. All right, let's start with Brandon Cisse. You have him at 8. I have him at 7. I'll let you start off on Cisse, on why you like Cisse a lot.
Yeah, okay. I'm referencing this by saying this. Texas A&M was a bad game. That was about as bad of a game as you can get for a corner. But with that being said, it was the second half, much like the rest of the team. They did not play well the second half of that game. To me, I think all things being equal, I think this guy can cover. Like watching him, so the way I watch corners, I don't watch him when the ball's thrown to him. It's when the ball's not thrown to him. That tells me if a guy's sticky in coverage. And when he's not getting his targets, he tends to be on the body more times than not. And I always appreciate that because that means you're paying attention to the details. He has good feet, smooth hips. I think he's better in press than off. I think he can do both, but I like him more when he's able to be disruptive at the line of scrimmage. It's just that Texas A&M game does just it sits right here because I wanted to put him higher because I like the player a lot more. But when you have to look at that tape because Concepcion's going to be a high pick. Craver next year is going to be a high pick. Like those are real NFL dudes, and he struggled, so that held me back. But I think he's a good player. I just think his inability to be consistent throughout the course of a game, because it happens multiple times throughout the year where he either has a good half or a good quarter, then he gives up a big play versus Missouri. I think he gave up a big play on something to me that was kind of routine. So it's the mental lapse where I think he has to clean up. Whereas Manny Muhammad was very naturally instinctive. I don't think he has that same feel for the game.
Yeah, I like Cisse. I will say I think there are some people who are maybe pushing him a little bit to be a lot better. Like he's like a top 5 corner on some people's list. I think he's more like somewhere between the 6 to 10 range, which is why we have him where we have him. I like Cisse. I like some of the film I saw on him. Some of his pros. I think he's a really solid plus run defender. I do agree with you that he could be very technician-like, good fluidity to his hips. He's an elite athlete, and I think there is some versatility to his game. So for me, I said Cisse is a physically gifted corner with potential to be a second round to late first round pick. He's got decent size, good arm length, top end speed's great, and elite hip fluidity that makes him an enticing defensive back. However, his current play is hampered by not having the best play strength and not being the greatest tackler. He's got a tackle rate of 14.3%, missed tackle rate of 14.3%, which could lead him to struggle against more physical wide receivers.
Yep.
His productivity, he's got 1 interception this year, last year 0, the year before only 1, so not a ton of productivity. And sometimes against really good teams like the A&M game, even LSU, he isn't the best, right? But he's a very young player. I think he's only 20 years old, and he's got the raw athleticism that makes him a prospect that, I mean, I can kind of see why some people fall in love with him, because he has that size. He's got the speed, and he's got some really good tape on film. Just kind of throw away that A&M film, and he might be at 6 or 5 for me. But because of that A&M film, it pushed him down a little bit. But he's a fun player to watch, and he's allowed 47.4% of targets to receptions. So he's having a good year. A lot of work to be done. He's still a young player, though, so there's going to be a team out there that's going to like this guy a lot. And if he does go to the combine, he's going to light it up.
Oh, yeah. He's going to test well. He is definitely going to test well.
All right, let's move over now. Let's go and talk about Keith Abney real quick. I'll start us off with him. He's at my number 5. Yep. He's at your number 6. So Keith Abney, he's a quiet but a highly effective coverage corner who possesses some of the most translatable coverage athleticism of this class. He's got good and almost effortless He has good and almost effortless mirror ability, and he excels at route management and off-man and zone coverage. So I saw what PFSN wrote for him. Because often what I like to do is I like to write down my own personal notes and then kind of, what does this people think about him? What is this guy? Watch a couple videos, make sure that what I'm writing down is not a bunch of BS, right?
Totally off track. Yeah.
Exactly. So PFSN made the comparison to Jalen Johnson, and I was like, okay, I definitely can see that from a size perspective, from the way they play. Yeah. There's a lot to his abilities that I like. He is a good athlete. He is really good at the catch point. I don't necessarily know if he has the best hip fluidity per se, but I do think he has enough speed to get it done with, and he's got enough productivity that makes me think this is somebody that I think he's probably like late round 1, early day 2, right? Yeah. The last 3 years, he's got 6 interceptions. This year, a 46.1 passer rating allowed. I think he's good in both man and zone. Yep. And he's got size that's very similar to a lot of other players here. So I think he's a good player. I don't necessarily know if he's a true like CB1 in the NFL, but it's like a really solid to great CB2. I think he's a great player. So yeah, this is somebody that you're going to see a lot of mock drafts having like round 2, and he's going to be a really good player, round 2 to round 1.
Yeah, no, like this, you're right. It was his hips stiffness, like watching him flip at times. I'm like, it's just not as fluid as I would like. And he can get, I'm not gonna say lazy, but more so lackadaisical when chasing and breaking routes, slants, digs. Like it's something where he tends to play higher, doesn't have the same burst and like twitch as you see on the outside routes when he's covering comebacks and outs. But I will say this: his feet are he has some of the best feet to match and mirror at the line of scrimmage. He's very balanced and patient at the line. Um, like his a bit like to me, he turns into a receiver once he kind of knows what the route is. He runs the route like the receiver. Like his feet are that good. Like his feet don't stop. He has typewriter feet, which I personally love. Zone coverage, he's really good. He plays with good eyes and awareness in zone coverage. He does one of the better jobs of using the sideline as a defender to pin guys to the sideline, downfield. Yeah, like he plays the game at a high level. It's just I just think at times shiftier guys, quicker guys can get him because if they make him open his hips when he doesn't want to, that's when you see that stiffness shows up.
Let's go and move over to Colton Hood now. So Colton Hood is at my number 6. He's at your number 5. So I'll let you lead off with this one. Colton Hood, what do you like about him?
Yeah, man. So I like one how he stepped up this year. With like they're supposed to have a really good duo of corners. Jermod gets hurt and Colton Hood becomes CB1 for this volunteer team, and he hasn't backed down from it. I think he plays with good technique in both man and zone. He's disciplined, and when guys are starting to break his cushion, because a lot of guys like to turn late, and that's when they get beat. He's very disciplined in when he flips his hips, when he's feel like he's getting threatened vertical. I think he's really sound in his press technique. He plays with good feet. He does some of the better jobs of just using his hands in press. Because one thing that bothers me, Metro, is any corner in the league, because I've played it. When you get up to the line of scrimmage and you don't use your hands, that it bothers the hell out of me because that's not press. You're just up there to be up there. Now he's just running for no reason. He does a really good job of using his body and his hands to disrupt timing. He's competitive at the catch point. I think his ball skills are good, not great. He can make more plays on the ball, and he's a willing tackler and run support. Like on the edge, on the perimeter, if the ball bounces, he's going to show up. Now, with all that being said, this is his first full year, really. Everything, he doesn't have a lot on his resume. Yeah, so I'm curious to see where he goes because I think the talent is there, but you're talking about a guy who doesn't have thousands of snaps of doing this at any level. So I think he can get a little grabby at the top of routes in college. You can get away with it in the NFL. It's illegal contact, automatic first down. So his hands, his lack of experience, and I think he's fast. I don't think he's slow by any means, but I don't know if he has 4.3 like recover speed. You know what I mean? So like if he gets beat, he's beat to me. So with that being said, like that's why I had to leave him at, I wanted to put him higher because I think it's more in his body in the right system, but just overall, yeah, I think he's closer to his ceiling than some of the other guys.
Yeah, so for Colton Hood, I said he's emerged as a top-tier prospect in the 2026 draft. He's got NFL size. He's got good enough speed. I do agree with you. I don't know if he has the recovery speed to catch up to like a Jalen Waddle per se, but he's a really smart player. He's good at press coverage. He can use his long speed. He's got good physicality to stay in phase with vertical threats, and he can prevent separation. He does risk penalties by being a bit over-aggressive and, as you mentioned, a bit grabby. Yep. But I think in general, his overall coverage mobility, rapid movement skills, and his football intelligence is going to make him an impactful and very scheme-versatile player that probably will go round 1. I think that's around his range right now. I've seen him as high as somewhere in the top 10. I think he probably goes somewhere in like the middle. He's given a passer rating of 68.2. He doesn't have necessarily like the production, but I do agree with you that I think that is something that might be a bit of an outlier. I do think as time goes on, he'll have seasons with like 2 or 3 picks. And I don't know if he's a true cornerback 1, but as you mentioned, we haven't really been able to get a full sample size. This is really his first year. He's a redshirt sophomore. So
right.
Until we see it on a team where he's being asked to be the guy, we'll wait and see, right? Tennessee this year was supposed to have Colton Hood on one side and Jermod McCoy on the other side. Obviously, Jermod was out for the entire year, so now it's just Colton Hood, and that secondary was really bad this year around Colton Hood. Colton Hood was one of the only bright spots out there, and he's been really consistent for most of the year. I thought versus Bama, he had a couple bad plays, but other than that, he has been really good all year. So Colton Hood is somebody that kind of came out of nowhere to push his name into being that, like, the second or third corner off the board potentially. So, shout out to Colton Hood, man. He's a really good player. Okay, let's get to 4-1. I'll start us off here. At number 4, I have Avieon Terrell. Number 3, I have Chris Johnson. 2, I have Mansoor Delane. And number 1, I have Jermod McCoy.
Yeah, 4, I have Kelley Jones. 3, Avieon Terrell. 2, Jermod McCoy. 1, Mansoor Delane.
All right, let's have the conversation.
All right, let's go, baby.
Kelley Jones. So I'm going to preference this. So we did a video, or maybe it was a live show, I can't remember, where we talked about some underrated players, some guys who we thought we needed more recognition. And I brought up the name Kelley Jones. So I heard of Kelley being a Texas fan, watching that Texas game versus Mississippi State. And for the first 3 quarters, Kelley Jones had Texas in hell. I mean, he was just incredible to start that game off.
That he was.
I believe he had an interception in that game. Multiple times where Texas was trying to test him down the field, but he was in phase and just, man, he was so confident that game, and it was a thing of beauty. I think the biggest thing with him why I have him at number 8, number 1, I don't know if he is in this class, and 2, I think there's some inconsistencies at time, but man, if he's in this class, and if he tests well at the combine and things like that, he's going to be higher on my board. He is a really intriguing player. I'll let you start off on him because he's your number 4 on your list. He's number 8 for me. But let me just say, I thought about Kelley Jones as high as number 6. So I'm right there with you.
Yeah,
go ahead and start us off with him.
I'm a big fan of his tape because he's 6'4", he can run, and he does the best job out of all these guys, even then my number 1 guy, of not panicking with his back to the ball. Well, that also helps that, he's 6'4" and probably has like 34-inch arms. So he has an advantage there that God gave him. So, but he uses it so well downfield. He's a big guy who doesn't play high. I think he plays with balance and control. He's better when he can press. When he plays off, that's where he can get turned around a little bit just because he's so leggy, because he's so tall and so long. But I really like this tape. I like the way he plays the game. He's a redshirt sophomore, so he is eligible. I don't think he's going to come out, but if I had to put him in this class, when you're talking about dudes who are, who could, like, he's Tariq Woolen. I don't think he's 4.2 fast because Tariq Woolen was a track star, but I think he's a more polished version of that guy. Tariq was transitioning from receiver to corner when he came out of Texas San Antonio. Kelley Jones playing versus better competition. He's playing a lot more press. He's polished. He's very poised as well. We don't talk about corners being poised. We talk about it more so for quarterbacks, but as a corner, he's very poised. And I think his best football is ahead of him. I think he has a very high ceiling. A very, very high ceiling.
Yeah, and the thing too about Kelley that I find to be fascinating is nobody talks about him. Like, nobody. And the only person that does talk about him is Mel Kiper. And of all the people that
scares me now. I'm not gonna lie. That scares me now.
That is like the one guy
like
that you probably don't. But man, when I watched that Texas game, I was like, okay, this guy's good. And then I started watching some other tape of him, and it's just like, this guy's good. I thought versus Missouri, he didn't have the best of games, and weirdly enough, Northern Illinois was a game too where, he was getting tested quite a bit out there. But man, at the game against Texas, against Georgia, this past week versus Ole Miss, like, let me tell you, against Ole Miss, he was targeted 1 time, did not give up a single reception. Against Georgia, targeted 5 times, gave up 1 reception. Against Texas, he was targeted 3 times, 0 receptions. Against Florida, was targeted 3 times, 0 receptions. This guy has a completion percentage of 28.9. And
Crazy.
in this class, it feels like every corner is around that 6 foot to 6'1" range or shorter.
Yep.
This is the one guy that you're going to see in this class that actually has some size to him. Right? He's 6'4", and he has long arms. And people are going to look at Mississippi State and they're going to say, "Oh, he's just Emmanuel Forbes." Forbes came out and was like $150, right? He's
Soaking
195, and he looks very wiry, right? He's not like he's this thin player, right? He's given up a few touchdowns this year, and that kind of brings me to some of the more inconsistencies of him this year. There are times where it's like, man, what happened on that play? Right? He gave up a 19-yard play to Georgia that I believe went for the touchdown. Don't quote me on that, but that one was kind of confusing. But he's got ball productivity this year. He's got 2 interceptions, 9 pass breakups. He is just a player, man. And it baffles me why nobody talks about him. The only thing that I can kind of hear is because he is a redshirt sophomore, and maybe everyone's just like, this guy's not going to be in this year's class. And that would check out, but I'm like, hey, even if he's not in this class, put him on the PFF mock draft simulator. Let us see where he can go. Like, he's not even on the PFF big board, or he's not on anybody's list. The only person that has him is this guy from CBS and Mel Kiper, and I think they get it. But for Kelley, I'll talk about what I wrote for him real quickly, because a lot of what you said is basically what I put too. I said he's an under-the-radar corner who's got good size, 6'4", with elite speed, and I think it gives him some of the highest ceiling in this year's class. He's got natural feel for coverage. He can turn effectively. He can locate the ball for PBUs. He's only a third-year sophomore, redshirt sophomore, so he's got time to develop, but he's got some big-time performances against top-level competition. And as you mentioned, he is one of the calmest players when that ball is in the air. And that's something that you don't find very often in even some NFL corners. When that ball gets up in the air, and I understand, because I can only imagine what's going through the head in that moment, but when that ball is in the air, a lot of players will get grabby. They'll put their hands up. They'll try to avoid contact because they don't get their head turned around. Even when he's not able to get his head turned around, he is just so poised and calm, and just it's bizarre. And I think this guy has a very high ceiling. And again, I want to get back to it. This is a class that does not have a ton of size to them. It's 6 foot, maybe 6'1" or less. Right? A lot of 5'10s, a lot of 5'11s. We even have a 5'9 corner, right? This is the one guy in this class that I think is somewhere in the top 15 that has genuine size to him. And so that, to me, is just kind of another little check mark for him, right? Julian Neal has some size to him as well, but I think Kelley Jones is just a better player. So, man, Kelley Jones, man, he's a fun player. Pivot now to Chris Johnson, who you have Chris Johnson. Where'd you put Chris Johnson?
I have him at 6. No.
All right,
I had him at 5. 5 or 6.
Okay, I have him
6.
at number 3.
6. Yeah.
Okay, he has him at 6. I have him at number 3. So I'll start off on Chris Johnson here. Chris Johnson, he's a highly refined and very technically sound corner who plays with elite discipline and great hip movement in coverage. And I think he fits in a more man-heavy scheme, but I think he can work in zone. He boasts the versatility to cover any receiver due to his athleticism and possesses a high motor that translates into strong run defense and tackling. The biggest concern for him is that he's only 180 pounds, which means against more physical receivers like an A.J. Brown, like a DK Metcalf, like a Pickens, he will struggle a little bit, right? And he can become a little bit grabby in those moments. He's not necessarily the fastest of players. He doesn't have elite top-end speed, but I would say he's fast enough, right? He's got enough to make up, when a player gets half a step on him, he's fine, right? But he's a pure technician, just an absolute pure technician. And this year for San Diego State, he's got 4 picks, passer rating of 15.5%, has given up 18 receptions on 45 targets. I mean, those are some really good numbers. And I know the competition hasn't been great this year, but I would say his best game was against Cal. And Cal's got some dudes that are going to be in the NFL, right? And some other really good games versus Boise State and Nevada and Washington State. So, sure, he's not going up against SEC-level competition, but shoot, now there was Quinyon Mitchell, and Quinyon Mitchell is one of the best out there. I think if Chris Johnson could add, PFF has him listed at 195. I saw most people he's not. I saw most people say it was about 180. If he can get to 195 and keep up with everything else, I'm okay with it. I think he's a really talented player. And I haven't met number 3 because I just felt like his game was very translatable to the NFL. I just feel like if there's a guy that I feel like has the potential to add on a few more pounds and be a true boundary corner that could be a number 1, I think Chris Johnson's one of them.
Yeah, Metro. Like, I don't dislike Chris Johnson. It was the fact that for a smaller guy, he wasn't as fast as I thought he should be.
Yeah.
That's what kind of held me back. Because, like, everything you said was true. Like, he has really good ball skills. I mean, like, natural ball skills. Like, he's a center fielder catching a pop fly. Like, he sees the ball and fields it, like, naturally. I thought, I actually thought he was better in zone than in man because now he doesn't have to respect like the integrity of like every route. He can kind of just fill and play, and his instincts take over. And then he jumps routes and he jumps in. Like, I think his feel for the game is up there with any other guy. It was really for his frame and for how I saw him run. Like, he has to be right. He's not going to recover. That's where I'm like, he is a good football player, but when you talk about guys who can stop, like he can stop and break, but if he has to stop, start, and then break again versus double moves or the play breaking down, that's where you see his physical limitations. But I don't think there's anything he can't do. He can play press man, he can play off man, he can be good in cover 2, he can be good in cover 3. And it's, to me, it's all because he's so instinctive, and the way he feels the game, it's just like, I'm not gonna say he looks like a young B Ross, but I mean, if I went to San Diego State, he looks like a young B Ross out there playing corner. So that's why I try not to get enamored with the fact that I see myself in this guy in terms of how he plays the game. And also I was bigger than him, but really good football player who I think is going to get underdrafted and overperform. I do, because I think he's going to run low 4.5, maybe high 4.4, and I think someone and that's all a team needs is a reason to push him down just a little bit and still take him, but not to pay him as much. But I think he's going to be underdrafted and overperform.
Yeah, if you can get to that like 4.48, that would be nice.
He's good. He's
right. If he can get to that number,
he'll go late 1, early 2.
Yeah, but if he does run that 4.5, then that might push us down the board. And the nice thing is when we do later in the offseason, we'll do our final rankings for each position again. We'll have those numbers put into it now, right? Once we get to the combine, once we get to pro days, if he goes out there and runs a 4.55, right, then we have to reconsider him, right? But if he goes out there and runs a 4.48, 4.46, 4.47, because like one of the issues last year for Jahdae Barron was
no one knew how fast he was.
Right,
exactly.
He's a good player. He's technically sound. He can play inside, outside. He can play even safety. But can he run? Right? Can he run a 4.4? And the dude ran a 4.3, and it was like, oh yeah, first round pick. Right. So Chris Johnson, a lot to like about his game. Let's go on and pivot now to Avieon Terrell, who I have at number 4, and if I'm correct, you have him at number 3. I'll let you start off on Avieon Terrell. I like Terrell a lot. I thought 2024 was a little bit better, but I think he's kind of been the same player for a while now in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
He is who he is. So I'll let you start off with him.
Yeah, I like Avieon Terrell. He reminded me, watching him, a lot of, he's not as muscle bound as this guy, but he reminded me the movements of Jair. When Jair came out of Louisville, smaller guys, but you talking about handling wide receiver ones and being a smaller guy, like they do it with their feet, their hips, and their explosion back to the ball. He's very combative. His hips and his fluidity are probably what I love most about him. His ability to just flip and move with just very little wasted movement. I think he's better in man when he can just match a guy, because in zone he can get a little undisciplined with his eyes. Not that it's to a fault, but he can get a little greedy with his eyes when he's playing zone coverage. But what held me back with him is his frame and his size, because at the end of the day, NFL is about having big dudes, and big dudes win at the catch point. Big dudes are able to body you at the point of attack. So, like I love the player because I think he's super talented, and I've seen smaller guys, be good players, but at some point their lack of size will always show up. That's just the nature of physics and just the human body. But Terrell's a really good football player. He has high football IQ, high recognition of route concepts, great feet, great hips. It's just at the catch point at times he's going to get out muscled because he's not big and he's not strong. And I don't know if that's ever going to change because to your point, he's been like that his whole career. So that's just kind of who he is at this point, to me at least.
Yeah, so he is the brother of A.J. Terrell. Obviously, A.J. Terrell, really good corner for the Falcons. You can kind of see it in his game that he has played and probably practiced with his brother because some of the little things about their games, you can kind of see some similarities. He's basically the same guy he was last year. Even if you look at the numbers are very similar to last year. I thought maybe in coverage he was a little bit stickier last year, but it feels like almost every single one of the big Clemson guys, the Peter Woods, the TJ Parker, and the Avieon Terrell, they're kind of the same guys they were last year, but just didn't take a big step forward, right? So that's maybe that was just more of an entire team problem, less than the actual players' problem.
Fair.
I think you're 100% correct with everything you said. He's got great hips. He's got good speed. He's impressive in coverage. He can play in man and zone. I think he's got a high floor. I think he can play probably in the nickel. I think he might actually end up having a movement side to play nickel. His issue is that he's just not big, right? He is a small player. They say he's 5'11", 180. I'd probably say he's 5'10", maybe 5'9", 170, 175.
He's probably 5'10", 7, buck 70. If he's going to weigh in bigger at the combine, he's going to weigh in like super heavy, right? Yes. And then he'll end up actually weighing like. No, I wouldn't. 5%, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, no.
Pack on 10 pounds, double socks. What didn't they say that Bryce was like? He packed on a shit ton of weight and he did something to make himself like an inch taller, something crazy, just to get that number one pick. So, if I'm Avieon, I'm doing the same thing. So
what they stopped doing is guys can't wear socks anymore for the height. because they're wearing, I'm wearing 2 pairs of the same socks and you add enough and then you're over the threshold of for some teams. Nah, you out there like now they're out there just in their tights, no shirt, no socks, weight and height. So for guys just like that, for that reason.
It's gonna be interesting because I do think he's gonna probably come in about 5'9.5", 5'10".
Ooh,
but
I don't think it'd be that short. Ooh. How tall was his brother?
That's a good question. A.J. Terrell, let's see. A.J. Terrell height. A.J. Terrell is 6'1". 6'1", 201. So obviously he got the better genes of the two.
He did.
For Avieon. But Avion's really good too. Like you can see it in their games. There's a lot of similarities between those two players and just kind of the way they kind of go about themselves. And the thing is too with Avieon Terrell is you don't have to worry about him being an idiot, right? He has a brother that's already been in the league. He seems like a good kid. Went to Clemson, right? He's just a good player, really solid player. I think there is, and maybe this is a little bit for me as well, I think there's a bit of prospect fatigue with him, right? Because we've been kind of talking about the guy
for so long,
the same way for basically 2 years now.
True.
And, there's some other players in this class that maybe are a little bit more fun. There might be a bit of prospect fatigue with him, but all that said, I do think the concerns size-wise is definitely there with him. He's a good player. I don't know if he's, I guess my question for you is, do you think he plays outside boundary or do you think he plays inside? I think you probably have to play him inside.
I don't know because you got to be able to tackle at like a good rate, and like he's a smaller. I don't know how long he lasts inside.
Yeah, he's a decent run. He's a decent run defender, but when you go up against Derrick Henry, it's tough.
So
like he's willing to get downhill and hit you, but
it's just how long can your body hold up doing that at that size? So I think he plays outside, and hopefully you can get him to return punts as well, because people forget he does that. He's actually a pretty good punt returner. So,
right.
but yeah, it's just the frame.
All right, let's move over now to our top two. We have them flipped. And actually, a lot of our list is actually quite similar. We'll do a recap of our list here in a second, but we'll start off with Jermod McCoy because I almost had him at number 2, admittedly speaking, right? So I'll let you speak on him, but I'm gonna say this about him: the 2024 film is really good, really really good stuff on that film. But he tore his ACL in the summer, and we haven't seen him since. And the biggest thing that I will say is that there is a number of players that we've seen that have had injuries prior to the combine or whatever, and they just never quite look the same, right? Leg injuries, especially for a position like corner that relies so heavily on athleticism, is a scary thing, right? Now, ACL is, you can come back from ACLs and be totally fine, but we've seen some players where they don't look the exact same after the injury. So I have him at number 1, assuming he's fine. Right, he's going to probably, if he does come out this year, he's going to have to pass the combine and pass the pro day. If he passes those things, then I think we're set. But if he doesn't do them, or if he looks not fluid, not explosive, he's going to fall. He's going to fall a bit. So I'll let you start off on him. You have him at number 2. I have him at number 1. So go ahead.
Yep. Yeah. No. I love this tape from last year. I couldn't put him at 1 just because he hasn't played. Honestly, that was literally the only reason, because he has elite ball skills, like elite ball skills, and it translates to production. Like, guys who can get the ball, that's not something that goes away. So I love that he's really good at getting the ball. He's really good at zone coverage and baiting quarterbacks to throw the ball to him. I think he's fluid. I think he has good feet. I love him in press coverage as well. I don't know what they're coaching over there at Tennessee, but you can tell they work on it, because those guys look eerie similar in just how they press. He was never a very fast guy on tape, so that was another reason I'm like, he's not really that fast. And then you throw an ACL in there. I don't know how that looks that first 2 years in terms of just long speed, being able to cover guys vertically. But you talk about the short to intermediate area, I think he's strong. I think he's combative through the catch point, to where bigger guys don't give him the same issues, because he plays with good strength at the catch point. I mean, honestly, I just think he brings a different mentality at corner than a lot of these other guys. When you're talking about his physicality, without it always translating to penalties. Now, he does get grabby downfield at times, but he does it with the right intent, in terms of he's grabbing when he's looking back at the ball. And sometimes you can get away with that as a corner, where you can look up at the ball, and then play the ball. He's not as poised as Kelley Jones, but he doesn't panic. He's not a guy who's just going flailing his body around, reach for anything, trying to make a play. I think in the run game, he could be inconsistent. He can show up and do it, and he has flashes of him being really good at it. It's just very inconsistent. Honestly, it's devastating that he's dealing with this injury, because I thought he was going to have a really good year. I'm curious to see if he even tests in the spring, because if he doesn't, man, that's good. Is it really though? Because
if he's not okay, then don't do it, right?
Well, even if he is, so when I say don't test, I'm saying I don't think he should do any. He should do all position drills. That's it.
Oh yeah. Don't run a 40.
Don't run a 40. Don't jump, because your body isn't going to be prepared for that. Just go backpedal, turn and brake, and show that you can physically do that. Because now teams have nothing to grade you on except your 2024 film. Because going back to school is dangerous. You just tore your ACL. Yeah. Going back to school to play another game is no. Don't do any testing. Go just work out. Pass all your physicals. Welcome to the NFL in the first round.
100%. That's the big question for him. So I said for McCoy, he projects to be a potential shutdown cornerback 1. He's got rare blend of good size, great twitch, good ball productivity. He's a tenacious defender who excels in press coverage. He uses his hands well. He's got good speed, so he can dictate where to put, or he can dictate the terms to opposing receivers. His ACL tear, and he's a little bit impatient at times, scare me, but he's got immense upside if he's healthy to return back to being the top player. This is the ultimate. We have to wait and see, right?
Yeah.
I think of last year with Savon Ravel, where Savon Ravel would have probably been a first or second round pick.
Yep.
Had the ACL tear, fell all the way down to round 3, right? We've also seen, you brought it up to me before we started talking, the kid from Virginia Tech, Caleb Farley. I can't remember what injury he had, but he had some injuries he was dealing with.
Yep.
Went pro, got drafted by Tennessee, never really looked the same, right? And we even saw it last year. I mean, Will Johnson had other concerns outside of just the injury, but Will Johnson was a projected top 10 pick. He went all the way in the middle of the second round, right? Because of an injury and because people thought he was slow. And now that's looking really good for Arizona. So we'll see, man. Jermod is a interesting case study for the NFL to see whether or not they're willing to take that risk. And I think if he doesn't pass the test perfectly, you're probably not looking at a top 15 pick. But if he passes the test, he can move his way back into being a top 15 pick. So
absolutely,
he's an interesting player. All right, let's talk Mansoor Delane. You have him number 1. I have him number 2. I'll start with this one. I'll keep it really brief. Mansoor Delane, he's sticky in man coverage. He brings physicality, and he's a very smart player. He's a polished, pro-ready corner who can excel in both man and zone. He's got good versatility. He's got a competitive mindset that makes him a prime candidate to be an early round pick. He's got oily hips. He's a smart player. He's assignment sound, and he's a decent tackler, right? Now, he will struggle with press coverage, and he's not the biggest size-wise, but he is having if there's a guy who has boosted his stock up more than anyone, it's been Mansoor Delane. Him transferring to LSU was just brilliant, right? Him going, because at Virginia Tech, he gave up 7 touchdowns last year, right? He just wasn't working out. He now moves over to LSU. They know how to utilize his skill set, and I think he just got a lot better. And if you're looking for a dude to play man coverage for you, I don't think there's a better one than Mansoor Delane, right? One healthy, even Jermod McCoy, like in man coverage, I don't know if there's a better one than Mansoor. He's really good. He's really good.
Sticky in man coverage. No, I don't have too much to add. Like, to your point, he has loose hips. He's sticky in man coverage, and ultimately every coverage is man coverage. It starts off as zone. At the top of the route, it all turns into man. Mansoor Delane, to your point, he has done the most to improve his stock, but it shows up on tape, play in and play out. He plays with a what's the word? Like organized chaos at the catch point. Yeah, he's it may look out of control, but he knows exactly what he's doing, how he's doing it. Like, he plays with control aggression, I would say, at the cornerback position, which is kind of rare. I think he has really good ball skills. He does a good job of anticipating correctly. A lot of guys can anticipate, but he anticipates correctly. And that helps him be sticky in man coverage. I'm a big fan of his. Like, again, his growth from last year at Tech to this year at LSU, they don't look like the same player. And it's
that can be a little scary,
two different schemes. It would, had he gone from had he went from Ole Miss to LSU, then it's like, because I'm like, y'all play kind of similar and same opponents. Virginia Tech has been a shit show since Frank Beamer's left. So, you know what I mean? And like, guys who stayed aren't playing well, and guys who left play better for them. But no, I'm a big fan of his. But again, much like Terrell, his frame worries me at times, just because
he's not that big.
You got to be able to hold up. Yeah, and the way he plays with physicality. I'm just like, can he do that for 17 games in the NFL?
That is true. I mean, he's been. I don't think he's really had a bad game. Like, even against A&M, he held up pretty well out there, right? He did. He is just really good. He hasn't given up a single touchdown this year. Has 2 picks. He's got good ball productivity. Even last year, he had 4 interceptions. I mean, he was tested a crap ton, but still, he still had 4 picks. And I mean, teams have a passer rating of 26.7 against him. I mean, these are just really good elite numbers. And there has not been a corner in college football that's been better than Mansoor Delane. And look, him and Jermod McCoy, I think Jermod is a better player, right? But I do also think if that injury doesn't come out to be 100%, we're having some conversations, right? For sure. So it's a good class. There's a few other names here that I briefly just want to throw out some sort of reasons as to why they weren't inside our top 10s. AJ Harris having a big time down year.
Yep.
He has a 141 passer rating this year, right? Damn. He's been targeted 25 times, has given up 23 receptions. But he also, 25 targets is not a ton, right? So there's still some good stuff.
Not in the course of 12 games? That's like 2 a game.
Games, yeah, exactly.
11, yeah.
But he's a strong player. He's 6'1". He's one of the taller guys out there. I think there is some potential for him to still get into round 2 or round 3. Dalen Everett, who I like Dalen Everett. He's got good size, good speed, good arm length. I just wasn't, some of the film for me was just sort of inconsistent. He doesn't have a ton of ball productivity this year. Last year he had 3 picks. This year 0. He's also given up 3 touchdowns and a 95.5 passer rating. I just don't feel like he's a impactful starter. Plus the Texas game, I thought Texas did a good job against him. So, I like Dalen. He was considered, but wasn't my favorite per se.
Me either. He was. I mean, a lot of these Georgia corners, from Eric Stokes, Tyson Campbell, it took them years into the NFL to figure it out, because at Georgia they just had to be tall and fast, and that's what he is. He fits that mold. He's tall and fast. I think he has the potential to get better down the line, but when you're talking about taking a guy, top 32, I don't think he's there yet. Is he a top 50 pick? Possibly, because I do think he's going to run low 4.3. Like he's going to test his way higher than where he should go, and then he won't be productive until his 3rd or 4th year.
D'Angelo Pons, look, if he was 5'11", he'd be a lot higher. This is a nickel exclusive player, but he is really small. 5'9", 173. Yes. It's tough, but he's got good numbers. He's played good against good competition. I'm really interested to see how he plays versus Ohio State. I'm really interested to see that. I struggle with 5'9", though. I really do. He's built like
he went to the Falcons. Clark Phillips from Utah. Short corner, sticky, very similar, just play styles and builds. But to your point, I would like to see him versus Jeremiah, Carnell Tate, Brandon Ennis. See how he holds up there. But then again, he can play well. It's just at some point, 6'2" is just always bigger than 5'9". So at some point, that's just always going to win. And teams just have to be okay with kind of knowing that. Much like Marcus Jones and the Patriots. Marcus Jones is shorter than him, actually. But they are okay with just what he is. So it'll be a team that absolutely loves him and be perfectly fine with him being 5'9".
The last player I'll mention is Davison Igbinosun. Last year, I think it was 16 penalties. This year, he's cleaned it up. He's getting a better whistle this year, but you can still see there's some grabbiness. There's some times where he's a little overly physical, but he is looking better this year, right? And I thought after last year, that was basically an undraftable player. This year, he's working his way back into having some conversations because he's got good size. He's got some speed.
Yeah.
Technique can be there, right? And this year, hasn't given up a touchdown, has a pick on the year, passer rating of 42.4, right? He can work in both man and zone. But I do feel like this is a guy that's going to get some PIs called on him in the NFL, like a good, decent bit, unless he can really clean it up.
It'll be either PI or holding, depending on how bad it is. He is going to get some, he has to fix that, because to your point, he gets away with it now in college, because in college you can literally assault somebody till the ball's thrown. Then that's when it becomes a problem. So he's cleaned it up, but not to the point where I'm comfortable taking him probably top 70. I wouldn't take him top 75 or maybe not top 100.
All right, really quick, let's do a quick recap of our list. So for me at number 10, I have Chandler Rivers. Number 9, Manny Muhammad. 8, Kelley Jones. 7, Brandon Cisse. 6, Colton Hood. 5, Keith Abney. 4, Avieon Terrell. 3, Chris Johnson. 2, Mansoor Delane. And number 1, Jermod McCoy.
Yeah, so at 10, I had Manny Muhammad. 9, I had Chandler Rivers. 8, Brandon Cisse. 7, Keith Abney. 6, Chris Johnson. 5, Colton Hood. 4, Kelley Jones. 3, Avieon Terrell. 2, Jermod McCoy. And number 1, Mansoor Delane.
All right, everybody. Let us know in the comment section below. What do you agree with and what do you disagree with our list? And per usual, you guys have a good day. Hit that like and subscribe button. B-Ross, go ahead and get us out of here.
Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. Peace out.
Peace out, guys.